Hi, welcome to Southern Alberta Fishing Adventures with Dog Fallon. It's my first YouTube video. Just going to kind of be doing a video on tip-up fishing for pike and setup and rigs and stuff like that. I know in the last couple of years with the pandemic, I've seen a lot more people ice fishing, and there's a lot of big pike in Southern Alberta, and I've caught quite a few of them myself, and I just figured I'd take this time to kind of share my knowledge on what I know. Maybe some new people are starting out and you're getting pike, but you're not really getting the big type of ones that you would like to get, and figured maybe I'd give a couple pointers on some tip of fishing rigs that I use. One of my favorite ones to use is this Trebles tip up. You can get them at Bass Pro, Cabela's, Canadian Tire. They run about 25 to 30 bucks, but they're great. I usually run about a 20 to 25 pound Dacron line from them. I usually like to fill it up. You don't want to fill them up too much, because what happens is they get tangled, and if you're going ice fishing and you got a lot of these in the back of your truck or whatever, a lot of times they'll get tangled up and in the back, and with hooks and everything like that, they kind of get in the way. Also, when you're setting up tip ups for pike, especially big pike, what I like to do, if you're going to reservoirs like Travers or Crawling Valley and stuff like that, what I like to do is I like to use a couple of split shot weights. They're about this big, and you tie a swivel, and then I like to use a titanium leader. It's usually about a foot, 16-20 inches, and from there I usually like to put, well, there's a couple of like hookup rigs that I like to use. Some guys like to use the double trebles. I personally make my own. I used to buy them, but I learned how to make them myself. If you're fishing for big pike, typically what you want to get is something like this. It's got the two trebles with it. Big girls here. These are great because if you've got a herring that's usually about a foot, or a mackerel, sometimes I'll use mackerel. I caught a 40-incher about 5 years ago using one of these things, and they're great. Is you hook it through the tail and the head sometimes, but I find sometimes what pike like to do, if you hook it through the head and the back of the dorsal fin, the fish usually sits like this, and then the other end will be coming like this. I've seen videos of pike come in where they come in and they take it head first. When they got it in their mouth, they kind of play with it a bit, and sometimes they'll feel, because they've been caught before, so they can spit that out pretty easily. But I find if you bait it kind of about halfway into the herring, I kind of wish I had a bait fish to show you guys, but I don't right now, so this will have to do. But if you do it about halfway like this, I find my hook rate for landing bigger pike is better. Usually when you leave it like this, they leave it in their mouth. And when they run with it, a lot of times you'll pull it, it comes right out of their mouth. But if you do it about halfway, like one in the head of the herring and one in the back, the dorsal fin, like this, when you get it in their mouth, your chances of hooking the pike or getting at the top of the lip or the bottom are a lot better too. Also, I've seen a lot of guys, I don't like trebles as much, but sometimes you have to use them, especially if you're having a bad day. This is one that I made myself. I've got a single hook and a bottom hook like this, and these are great because you put one of these in the top of the head of the smelt or the herring. It kind of sits like this. You can kind of leave them vertical like that, and the pike, when they come, they'll hit it, and it's usually in their mouth, and by the time they swallow it, I find, like, especially if you get the ones like this is an eagle claw hook. I love eagle claws because they're super sharp. They also make a lot of other ones too. I got this little treble one at the bottom. This is one of my homemade rigs. It doesn't have any flashy things on it, kind of like the one that I showed you here. But I find pike aren't picky. If they're hungry, they'll eat it. But this one works pretty good too. I haven't lost a lot of fish on that one. You can see it's a little bit dinged up. You don't even have to use thick bait wire or anything like that. I have a tool. It was a Berkeley kit. It came with one of these things, and you can make your own bait rigs and setups and stuff like that. I've done numerous ones myself. If you don't want to spend the $10 on those Northland tackle ones that are typically $9 to $10, but just a simple rig like this sometimes will catch you a lot more fish. Also, when you're fishing for big pike, make sure you've got a nice big pair of pliers like this, you know, because I find a lot of times when they'll swallow it and you have to go down and go and get it out of its belly or whatever for the safe release. These kind of come in handy too. I also got a pair of these from Army and Navy when they were open. Anything it's got 2 to 3 inches I can get in there and get it out. There's a lot of other ones that are kind of in there, and sometimes I find like when pike will hook themselves, they tend to get it down in there, and sometimes it's impossible, and sometimes the odd time I've only had to do it once because it was a mess. But have a pair of these with you if you got to cut a hook or take it out of its mouth or whatever. They're like $2-3 a Canadian Tire, you know, and if it gets too messy or whatever, if it's beyond saving or something like that, sometimes you can take one of these and just kind of cut the treble hook out of there. Also, one more rig I wanted to show you guys before I end this video is I got these from they're called South Bend. They're called Gorge Snell hooks. They look like this, and what you do is you the bait fish that you'll have, you string it onto the hook like so. The head sits here and the bottom hooks sit like this, and what you'll do is you'll take the needle and thread it through the fish, and then the fish comes down this bait needle and it sits on this. I've used these before if I have a bad day for not catching pike. Typically I don't like to use them because these hooks can cause damage. I've had a few incidents where I've used these, and the odd time, like when they swallow it, it goes way down, and then you got to pull it back out. But for the most part, they're not bad to use if the hook set's done like right away typically. But this is another, if you're having a bad day where you're not hooking pike or whatnot, I don't know if they sell these at Walmart anymore. I got these a couple years ago. I have one of these in my my toolbox here. Also, I find when you're bait fishing for pike, if you've got a lot of pike rigs like I do, when I go to the fishing hole or whatever, I've got these little I save these little plastic bags, and I put my tip-up rigs in these, and I find when you stick them in there, you got them in your tackle box. Like if you have trebles, they hook up on other hooks, they get stuck in there and everything, and it kind of makes a mess. I find if you, like, even a Ziploc bag, if you keep your tip-up rigs in a little bag like this, like mine, I've got a lot of them in there, it tends to save for messes and stuff like that. So if you guys are starting up tip-up fishing for big pike this year, a good little unit like this is good. I don't typically like to use the big wood ones, or there's lots of other varieties of tip-ups out there, but I typically keep about 5 of these in my tip-up bag. They're great. They don't tangle easily. They warm up. They've even got a little side pocket here to put your hooks in there, and whatever else you might need. But yeah, if you guys have any, I'm going to be doing some more videos when the ice freezes up about pike fishing and whatnot. You guys can also get one of these too, for your traces and tip-ups and stuff like that. I think I got this from the fishing hole. The hook goes in there and it has a little pulley that kind of comes down there, and the end of the thing goes on there. So I got one of these in my tackle box. That'll save you from getting tangles and stuff. If you guys have any questions about tip-up rigs or depths of water or anything like that, ask me the questions in the comments below, and I'll see if I can answer those. But this is my first YouTube video. Hopefully something in there helps you, and I'll probably be getting a lot more videos out coming up in the winter here. And thanks for watching.